Here in the studio, I'm joined by Michael Arnold. Michael, my colleague, is from the TRT World Research Centre. Michael, as Nicole's been saying there, the feeling is about unity. The feeling is about coming together. The feeling is about not being divided by the gunman's actions. But there has, of course, been some negative reaction around the world. In some of the British media, people nowadays can give their opinions on the internet in an instant. And people have been saying things like, oh, so now they know what it feels like when the shoe is on the other foot. I wish I could feel sad, but I don't. And then there's the reaction of Daesh. Its spokesman has been silent for months, and now he's come out saying what happened in Christchurch is another reason for us to carry out more atrocities. So how much has the gunman succeeded in creating more division?
Well, I think, it's remarkable to see the scenes from New Zealand. This is really unprecedented when we've had these type of events, to have, a sitting prime minister come out not only saying the words that she has, but as our colleague mentioned, a simple fact of wearing a scarf to honor the community. So this is, I think, needs to be acknowledged as something that is quite amazing. In terms of the gunman being able to increase divisions, absolutely. I mean, I think, the internet, particularly social media in this case, not only the kind of dark corners of the internet, they say, such as, 4chan and 8chan and these other platforms that come up, but even Facebook, Twitter, these mainstream platforms, due to their unregulated nature, this provides a space and a platform for people to amplify these types of voices, whether it's coming from the far right, white nationalists, anti-immigration people, and of course, as you mentioned, from Daesh and Al-Qaeda and these other types of people. And I think this is a really key point, because what you see is that with this type of extremism, again, whether coming from the far right or coming from these groups such as Daesh, there's a desire to eliminate the middle ground and a desire to eliminate what we might call the gray zone. Things are black and white. It's us versus them. It's a clash of civilizations, clash of religion, whatever you want to call it. But definitely that effort is part of what the gunman sought to do.
Yeah, this issue about the internet age that we live in now, and about radicalization through also the dark web. Foreign Policy, one of the world's foremost magazines in terms of international analyses, has written a piece about exactly this, about how Anders Breivik, the Norwegian terrorist who killed more than 70 young people on Utoya Island a few years ago, was one of the examples that the Australian gunman in New Zealand used. He obviously also mentioned President Donald Trump as a symbol of white identity. But how is the internet affecting radicalization today compared to people who used to belong to terror groups in the past? If you think about all those white European terror groups, ETA, Baader Meinhof, the Red Brigades in Italy, the IRA in Ireland, it almost used to be a case of you actually had to be physically present with a group to become radicalized, and now you can do it in your own living room. But is there a difference in the kind of radicalization that those two different processes create?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's very much a difference. First of all, if you look at people like Breivik, like the man who perpetrated the attacks in New Zealand, there is not a particular sort of policy grievance in that sense, right? If you look at former groups, IRA, ETA, whatever it may be, they have very specific issues that they're focused in on, very specific political issues that are really relevant to a particular, locality. What we see with these types of terrorists is really this sort of global discourse in terms of a clash of civilizations and a clash of cultures. It's a very different phenomenon, I think, and it's a very dangerous phenomenon precisely because of that. Somebody sitting in their living room or in their parents' basement somewhere, reading this sort of vile messaging over and over and over again, this is something that is unprecedented, and I think it really needs to take more attention. There's been a lot of attention over the years on Muslims being radicalized online, but it seems as these attacks come out that maybe there hasn't been as much attention for white supremacists, white nationalists being radicalized online as well.
Michael, for the moment we're going to leave it there, but I know you're going to be with us for the next few hours, so we're going to bring you back in and we'll talk about further issues concerning what's happened after the attack in Christchurch. Thanks.